Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 4.16. Now in this particular Yoga Sutra, Muni Patanjali is going one step further from the thoughts in the previous sutra and discussing how particular schools of Buddhism or Vijnanavada can consider that an object is non-existent just based on one chitta not being able to perceive it. So this sutra seems to be highlighting to us that things do have an absolute reality, and that absolute reality is the essential nature of that thing. So just because a particular chitta cannot perceive it in a particular moment doesn't make that thing non-existent. So this seems to be a little bit of I would say ideological difference between certain schools of Buddhism and Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And since those schools of Buddhism were very active or predominant at the time, these sutras seem to be just counteracting some of those beliefs so that it becomes very clear for the yoga sadhak the absolute reality or what he or she is working towards. So let's take a good look at this sutra. Start breaking it up step by step and understanding what exactly it's trying to communicate. So the sutra itself goes, Na chaika chitta tantram vastu tad pramanakan tada kin syat. Alright, so this is the sutra itself. Now let's go through each of the words to start understanding what do the words stand for and how can we understand it a little bit better. So the very first word here is na, not. Okay, so very rare for a sutra to start with a word that says not. But here it's starting with that, indicating that it's refuting a particular point. So the first thing is na or not. Then comes chaika chitta tantram, so this is a compound word essentially, and there are a lot of syllables and words within it. So let's start looking at it syllable by syllable. The first one is cha, which means and. Then it's saying eka, which means one. And then chitta, which is of course consciousness. And tantra, which means control. So this entire sort of compound word comes together to indicate that, it's not under the control of one particular chitta. Alright, so that is the meaning of this compound whole. And then we come to the next word, which is vastu, which again means a thing or an object. Then coming to the word after that, which indicates tada, which means that. And then after that, it's apramanaka, which means not real, unreal. Okay, so is not, pramanaka is proved. So this is not proved, it's saying not true. Then coming to the next word, there is tada, which means then. So again, this is a very interesting part of the sutra, which these last three words, alright, so it says tada then. The next word is kim or kim, which means that why. So it's very interesting. We haven't seen this word appearing anywhere in the Yoga Sutras so far because most of the sutras are telling us something. They're not questioning or refuting something. So here it's very interesting. It's like a question mark, like why, And the next word is syat, which means to be or to become, showing some kind of a probability of a thing. Okay, so this is what each of the words are individually indicating. But now let's string them all together like a sutra and understand what is this standing for. So it's trying to tell us that it's basically saying, listen, the chitta there's not one single chitta which is controlling all the objects or a particular object. And because we know that the chitta does not control an object, right? So for example, the laptop, right? My chitta is perceiving that there's a laptop there. But if my chitta stops perceiving the laptop doesn't disappear. The laptop still exists. So that's why what it's trying to say is, when the chitta removes its perception from that object, the object is not disappearing. then how can we say that everything is just coming from the mind, right? Obviously, everything has some kind of absolute reality because of which it exists. Otherwise, if everything is only mind-based, then why would it exist, right? Then it should go away. The person that is creating this so-called substance with the mind, when they move their perception, the substance should go away. But it doesn't. So this sutra has a slight bit of a debate kind of a tone where it's saying that, look, this doesn't happen. So therefore, we can say that there is an absolute reality, some kind of a presence in every single object, which is what makes it present. It's not simply our imagination that is creating everything around us. These objects, things, people have a basis, and that basis is above and beyond us. So we can think about, not escaping, but coming out of the cycle of birth and death. But that does not mean that just because we have gone out of the cycle of birth and death, the whole world is going to collapse. No, right? Because the world will continue existing. That's Purusha Prakriti. They are ever-existent principles. You have chosen to go out and then merge with the infinite. That's your choice. But your absence does not take away the entire creation, right? Because it doesn't revolve only around us. These primordial elements have existed eternally and they will continue to exist. How we choose to react to them is a choice that we have. So this is a very directly sort of argumentative, debate-worthy sutra, which is saying that some of the theories in the Vijnanavad school of Buddhism are not agreeable to the Yoga Sutras. And so they're pointing it out and saying that, look, we believe everything has a basis and everything has an absolute reality. We cannot accept that things are just born out of the mind because they exist without the mind and without the consciousness as well. So this is what the sutra is trying to say once again, just talking more and more, like reaffirming that there is something. In a previous sutra, if you remember, we had studied that if you look at a scale, a numerical scale, a lot of Buddhism schools tend to go towards negation or zero, saying that there is nothing. But the yoga schools tend to go towards infinity, saying no, there is something, and that something is infinite. So that's kind of the same thing that's happening in this sutra, where it's going against the whole concept of zero, and it's saying it's not zero, there is something. But that something is perceived differently by each chitta, and just because a chitta doesn't perceive it doesn't mean that infinity goes away. Right? So this is a very, very important philosophical idea and concept. And for a yoga sadhak who is on the journey of yoga, it would be even more important to understand this, because if he or she starts to think there's nothing, then it's like, what are you going to merge into, right? If you're thinking of merging with the infinite, going towards Kaivalya, if you think there's nothing, then everything is imaginary. So, but if you think, no, there is something, the greater than me, there is some absolute, then it makes sense to go through this path, right? Otherwise, everything is imaginary. So that is what the sutra is trying to indicate. It's really pushing for us to understand that there is a reality, a truth behind the existence of objects. They're not just imaginary, they do exist. But we can come out of this Shrishti and merge into the infinity or the infinite, which is our choice. And if we do so, or even if we don't do so, Shrishti or the merger of Purusha and Prakriti will continue to exist until, say, Ishvara or a higher power chooses to take that away. But we cannot do that. We will just do whatever we want, which is either we continue to move in the cycle of birth and death, or we go into the infinite. So those are the two choices we have. But can we control creation as a whole? No, that's not something that's within our power. So therefore, this sutra is a very prominent one, something very important to understand. And it's just giving the yoga sadhak the understanding of this is what you're working towards, the absolute, and everything is real, everything really does exist. So this is what the particular sutra is all about. I hope you've been able to understand it a little bit better. If you did, please don't forget to leave your comments, suggestions, questions in the comment section below. And also give this video a big thumbs up and let us know how you felt about it. At the same time, please do share it with your friends and family so that anybody that's learning about the Yoga Sutras or Yoga philosophy can learn and understand this much better. Apart from that, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we cannot wait to connect with you in the future upcoming videos as well, and we're releasing videos every single week. So with that, we're going to come to a close of this video. We look forward now to seeing you in the next video, the next class or the next workshop, and see you just generally in the future. So we're going to see you very soon. Until then, take care, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next one. Namaste.